All right.
Hey-oh!
Look at that silky smooth
Look
transition.
at that.
Freaking nailed it.
What's going on,
Early,
everyone?
early record before my nightmare of a social life starts happening again.
Well, you kind of do this to yourself, right? Just a little bit.
Kinda. One of them. One of this is your fault because you are directly involved in it. But yes, beyond that, it is. Well, I didn't choose the dates, but I did choose the activities.
I,
So
did,
does that
I didn't choose this life. This life chose me.
kind of right? It's mostly rugby related, but they need me because I'm a big dumb bruiser and I like hurting people. So
Well, I'm
they need that
excited.
on the team.
I'm excited. This is just for the YouTube and Twitch people. If you see a little funkiness, it's because I have taken over the OBS and the Twitch streaming responsibilities for the month of August, while of course my partner in crime, BigTuck, travels not just America,
The
North
globe,
America.
and I just booked another trip to Buenos Aires. Hey,
Oh yeah, by the
I'm
way,
doing it.
that dude hit me up on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, you told me about that, right?
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it was
You're
just
like,
so
hey, dude.
random.
He's
Hey,
he's
Limity Linning.
he's not. That's a whole nother story that we don't need to get into about our friend in Argentina.
But what we will get into is
Oh,
ooh, yeah.
wow. Silky smooth transitions over here. And also,
But you know what,
here we
Tuck?
go.
You know what though? We might have to hit record on Zencaster before we start going.
Whoops.
Ready? All right. We're giving it another shot. Big Tuck, of course, has
Damn it,
already
that was
poured
such
his
a
beer.
silky smooth transition.
That's fine. 3, 2, 1, hit it.
We'll fix it in post. Hold on. Here we
Hey,
go.
hey guys, welcome to episode 150 of C&B Towers Brews and
Ah!
Builds, the cool 150. I don't know what's cool about it, but hey, I'm MrCombo number 5, and my fellow host is a global traveler, much like Joyra, the Weatherlight Captain, Big Tuck.
There it is. I like it. I was really upset, and I speak for our entire user base when I say how upset I was that you didn't do this intro last week.
I know.
For episode 150, I got a real varietal, a flight, if you will, of some very strong beverages I'm working here. Starting with, of course, non-alcoholic Guinness for starters, followed up by a Lagunitas IPNA, a non-alcoholic IPNA, and finally, the best of the bunch, which I think you would actually like just raw, if you will, this Lagunitas the hoppy fresher. It's really good. So yeah, and I still this is maybe the longest I've gone without having a
Are you
in
feeling okay? Are you a
personal
little
work
shaky?
or social life. No, it's funny. I was talking to my coworkers and I was like, man, I guess it is the alcohol why I woke up groggy all the time and like felt bad and maybe it's like I feel like very clear of mind. I've noticed I have I've been eating a lot more sweets, right? That Halo Top ice cream is kind
Uh,
of my it's kind of been
it's
my
so
it's
good.
so good, right? I got the birthday cake, and then after rugby, I made myself a little protein shake with that in it. Uh, I've been like last week I was very irritable, especially like going through the breakup and everything that I think that's last week, yeah.
Yeah.
So that but like beyond that, it's really been pretty easy. I just don't like do you remember in college, like the only options if you went to a bar and weren't drinking were like club soda or Diet Coke, right?
I mean, maybe.
Or lemonade. But now I went to a brewery yesterday and they had like hard kombucha, which I know
Oh,
sounds, but it's actually pretty like I'm not big. I didn't think I was a particularly big kombucha guy, but as it turns out, like it's pretty tasty and it just doesn't taste like water, you know. So
hmm
it's been way easier. But tomorrow I'm going to an oyster house in Charleston, and also for those playing the home game, this is well, I guess it's already happened. I will not be at my house for a single weekend in the month of August.
What's Mr. Bubs feel about that?
I don't think it's gonna be great, but he's hiding under my bed right now because there's a thunderstorm. But his mom's gonna come and take care of him, so I think everyone's like he needs a friend, and he makes a weird. He has a really weird way of showing that he's lonely when he just hides under the bed if I leave the door open, or runs to the closet if I leave that door open too. So I don't know, but how are you doing on this blustery Thursday summer night?
I'm doing all right, and I think there actually is something to it, Tuck, where I think sometimes you and I, because I've definitely say, if we want to be objective about it, we are not full blown alcoholics or like smoke addictors, but we also aren't just the purely social either. We live in like that median
Yes,
to where
right,
it's
yes,
like it's not a problem. It's not
right.
like
It's not a crutch or anything. Yeah.
yeah, but it's one of those things like I haven't smoked hookah regularly or really period since January. So I'm going on
Wow,
7
really?
months. Yeah. I've
That's
smoked
impressive.
twice in the last 7 months. Maybe even just once.
Do
Um
is that something that I need to maybe bring up for the last
I mean,
weekend in
hey,
August?
it's absolutely a thing I'd love to do at the bachelor party. But the reason I bring it up is I quit doing it because I was getting these pains in like my upper left chest. That's not good.
Yeah,
Um, I'll
not good.
I'll be honest. Ever since I stopped smoking, I feel good. I mean, I do notice I like to snack more. I do
Yeah,
notice that I like to drink more. But there is a little bit of like when you cut something out that you do a lot of, even if you don't feel like it's a crutch or anything, just getting
right.
that out of your system because it's not good for you. I mean, you and I both know that.
Well, and I think like I a guy in my building brought up a really good point where he's like, you have like everyone has like a hole, right, of some varietal that they have, right?
Hmm.
And like if you're not gonna put like if you had a hole that you're putting alcohol and nicotine into, and then you take that away, you still have like that gap of something to get in, right? Like
Hmm.
everyone has their vices. So I think what I've learned more from this is like you like, and I know you and I are also like men of extremes, right? Like, I'm not gonna drink for 2 months straight, and then
Yeah.
2 months, and then 2 weeks into it, you're like, well, this blows, so I'm just gonna go ham, right? So what I've learned from like this time is like, just because I'm going to a brewery or I'm doing something that is involved with alcohol doesn't mean I have to partake in it, right? Because it's like, oh God, this week I'm going on a date, right? And then I'm
Yep.
playing Magic, and like all this stuff is like kind of like set or revolves around places where you're drinking, but like now you're like, I can just get a kombucha instead, right? Or just have like a beer
Exactly.
and then something else, right? It's like all about that middle ground of moderation, which does not exist for you or I.
Yeah, and it's actually the perfect example of that is this last Friday night, me, my fiance, and one of her bridesmaids that just got engaged, and her now fiance, we all went out to dinner to this Japanese steakhouse, and they actually
Ooh.
carded us. My fiance, she
What?
forgot her ID, and so they're like, "Well, we can't serve you." And of course, I get a cocktail, and she's like, "Hey, I really like that. Go and give it to me." And I'm like, "No, like this is mine." She's like, "Well, order me something and give it, like hand it over." And I'm like, if you can't go an hour and a half at dinner without a cocktail, I get it, you want one, but like that's more of like an issue. And she was like, "Yeah, I hear you. You're right. I don't need to have a cocktail." And it's just kind of that thing where sometimes you get in the habit of it, and
Yeah.
then it's just, well, I actually don't need that.
Well, and and I think that's been like a big habit breaker too of like not not having beer in the house. Like I've had alcohol and I
Hmm.
have resisted the temptation, which is kind of shocking, right? But like even this like non-alcoholic shit, even though it doesn't taste as good, it's still like lower calories and like at least gives you like that feeling of like relaxing with a beer, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been an interesting journey. I'm very much looking forward to having probably 15 beers on Saturday after a 3 hour rugby practice in the 95-degree heat. So I'm gonna try not to backslide too far, right? Because if you
Yeah.
do that, then you gotta like reset. So, anyways, that's been my journey. That's been my journey this
Well,
last 2 weeks,
the only
actually.
other thing I wanted to get you live on air is we got our tuxes this week for the wedding.
Yes.
I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised at how easily I was able to move around in it, and I never felt constricted, but it also didn't feel like gym clothing either. How did you
Yeah, I
feel?
agree. And is there a piping on the pants?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. There is. Oh, it's very
It's
subtle.
very very subtle on the sides.
Yeah. They're very comfortable. I think I still need to get there. It's very comfortable material, and it doesn't feel super heavyweight, right? Like some of
Hmm.
that spandexy stuff can kind of feel like gross.
Yeah.
But because like a September wedding in Kansas
Oh,
could be
hot.
100 degrees or it could be 40, right? Like we could be wearing like over top coats over that,
Yep.
or we might just be boiling brutally bad.
Exactly. But I think the one thing with you and I and Eric and Jared all being bigger guys, I kind of like that the button up shirt. I might actually get my just dress shirts from this place because
Oh yeah.
man, I felt like I could just move around. It wasn't coming out of my pants. It wasn't too clingy. It
Yeah.
felt
It
really
was just
nice.
it was a fit for you, huh?
It really was, and I just hope that these shirts can resist the pit stains that come with big guys and sweating.
I I also will need I every time I go back to Kansas City, I try to go to get a tattoo, and I'm definitely gonna have to remember to get one not on my arm because I guarantee that's just gonna stick right onto that thing. It's gonna be
Well,
permanent on that shirt.
Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we've conquered the path to 32, talks about some exciting themes of EDH that can be supported. We've decided to mix it up in season 3, and yes, season 3 is almost over. And
Oh,
and continuing this, we are drafting fantasy style commander decks
my
around
favorite.
some very cool legends. So each of us will do the following: we will choose the
We
standard 8 cards
oh yes,
each.
sorry, I forgot that's a new one. Then what we do is we pre-select 40 non-land cards a piece ish, flip a coin to see who drafts first, and then go round robin until the deck is complete.
Yep. And Big Tuck, if one of our cards is selected, what happens?
We remove it from the board.
What about lands?
We will be giving the total land count recommended and only taking cards up to the available slots.
So the first 19 is going to be a snake draft where whoever gets to go first, they pick first. Whoever gets to pick second, picks second, and they pick third. And we just kind of snake around like that. And then the final 5 will be the lightning round.
Do you have a lightning? Do you have a lightning bolt on that mixer? Do you have a lightning bolt yet?
Uh, uh, no, but I do have.
Oh, classic.
And then let's also talk about the legend that we're doing. So Big
Yes.
Tuck wanted to do this one. This was his choice, and I think he wanted to do it because he wanted to build the deck based on a comment he made precast where this might be too strong. So we are talking Trivet, Seller of Secrets.
Yes. The new it's a new legendary. Well, actually, what is that? 2 sets ago? Who knows, right? What's Capenna? A set ago?
Couple sets
It's
ago.
not. I guess it's relatively new. I don't know. Whatever. It's from
How about this? It's
2022.
from 2022.
Yeah, exactly. So Tevet Seller of Secrets is a legendary creature Sphinx Rogue, two of my favorite tribes nonetheless. That's a legendary creature Sphinx Rogue that's a 6/6 for 3 colorless and then Esper white, blue, black. It's got flying, ward 3. Whenever this becomes a target of spell or ability, counter it unless they pay 3. Great protection built on it. And then more importantly, has Council's Dilemma, which is whenever this enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, starting with you, each player votes for evidence or bribery. For each evidence vote, investigate, and for each bribery vote, create a treasure token. But the beats don't stop there because it also has while voting, you may vote an additional time, which is for any effect. So the primer that I sent to MrCombo on this one was I am now going through a cycle of deck retirements. I am starting to factor out ones that I don't like to play, and I'm either going to trade up the cards in Charlotte like I did previously, or maybe use them to build decks that might be a little fresher, that sort of thing. So I took apart Brea, and then I took apart one of my other Esper ones and another green white one. So I had piles of stuff lying around, and I still have Zur cycling, which is fun, but like kind of a one trick pony ish. It's still kind of very narrow in what it does. So I then actually bought the Obscura Precon and looked at this one and was like, I don't know how I blew past this because this card screams Big Tuck, right? It's got the voting mechanics on it that play into everything else. This is something that we've tried to shoehorn into like Queen Marquesa, and now we have a commander that's really voted for it. Obviously, I'm starting to get I'm in my treasure phase where a lot of the decks I have just happen to deal with those. And I think there's some really interesting artifact synergies that are sort of Brea like, but maybe a little less busted. Uh, I will say this: after doing some research on the commander, it turns out I am the only person that missed this, and this is making big waves across the entire format, including CEDH. So I'm a little worried with my deck, with my choices, that I might be building a deck that is too powerful to play in my current meta. But I think it's really interesting. So, MrCombo, what was your takeaway once we figured out this is what we want to do?
So this actually, if you tuned into last week's episode with my 6 CMC tribal, this is actually one of the ones that was a contender for that deck.
Which I did not know. MrCombo brought that up before. I did not know that, and if I did, I blocked it out of my memory.
And the only reason we decided not to go with Trivet, Seller of Secrets, was we felt
It doesn't have green.
well, the green helps the ramp, but
Yeah.
we felt that the consistent of just getting instep, getting 3 treasures when we sack a creature, versus we have to depend on our opponents to give it. In a 6
Yeah,
CMC tribal build, it wasn't the best fit. But I will tell you this: we were all very disappointed that we did not build this guy. It
Well,
screams
so now you got
awesome.
so is are half your picks just six CMC?
They are not.
They're just
I
leftovers.
actually gave you like the good cards that weren't 6 CMC. But yeah, just the fact that you get basically 2 treasures no matter what. It does not
Yeah.
matter what your opponents vote. You're always getting 2 mana back. That's amazing. I'm shocked, since this is a newer card, why didn't they have the tokens come in tapped? That would have seemed like how they could start to implement that
Right.
fair treasures come in tap type of effect. Um,
Well, and
but yeah,
it's such a strong engine too, because even then, so when he attacks, no matter what, right? If you have 4 opponents in total, you will get at minimum you
5
get to draw a
tokens.
card and have 2 extra ones left over,
Yeah.
right? So like I think that's like a really cool strategy that you can use those tokens, you can use those treasures to start shifting over to tokens or to clues and like use your treasures to crack your clues. And at game night on Wednesday, I was asking some people about this, and someone brought a point. I was like, "You just do clues every time, right?" And they're like, "No, because if you start getting, a huge surplus of them, we want you to stop drawing. So sometimes we'll actually just give you the treasures because then you have a bunch of mana with no cards in your hand and you don't have as much to cycle into your draw." So I think I agree with you. Most of the time it's going to be just straight clues from your opponents, but it could every once in a while be treasures too.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I just getting that free value is really, really nice. And yeah, I think it just does a lot. And so what we've started to do with these chaos drafts is we have kind of gone through and picked out the meat and potatoes cards that we feel we don't need to talk about. So we did
Yeah.
want to highlight. We did put in 8 artifacts, 2 creatures, 3 equipment, and just some basic lands and a couple instants. So I'll read out the artifacts, and Tuck, if you just want to breeze through the other ones, just so kind of people know
Sure.
what's in it. So for this Trivet, Seller of Secrets, we thought Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Skyclave Relic, Soul Ring, the 3 Talismans, Dominance, Hierarchy, Progress, and Treasure Map were just kind of all, they just make
Yeah.
sense. When you're in Esper, you need as many ways to draw cards as possible. Treasure Map was a really cute one, I thought, because then
Yeah, I love it.
the other side being able to sack those treasures to draw cards. Now, it's kind of like your treasures are now clues, but they don't cost
Right.
2 mana. So, well, I guess they kind of do, because you have to sack the treasure and you have to tap a land. Huh, look at that.
Well, there you are.
There you are.
Yeah, so I think all those are cool. I think treasure maps really. I think this deck is going to lean way heavier into artifact synergies. So I think those are all really good. As far as creatures, obviously we put an Academy Manufacturer for obvious reasons because that's just going to be bonkers. I'm starting to hate that card, but it's also very good. Esper Sentinel for some early card draw and artifact strategies there. Enchantments, 3 straight down the middle picks, in my opinion. Propaganda, Ristic Study, and Smothering Tide. Arguably, I know some people would argue on the propaganda, but I feel pretty strong those should go in any, like those 3 could go into any blue-white deck, right?
Well, here's the crazy thing, Tuck. Why the hell do we always forget about Ghostly Prison, which is just propaganda but
Is
white?
this the same thing?
It's the same
I don't
thing.
know, because
Because
like,
if you make that argument, then it's like, well, then it should be those 4 that go in every blue-white deck.
right? Because yeah, I guess. And
It's
like
weird.
sometimes I have Ghostly Prisons in the deck that has blue. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know about that one. Then we went with 2 just pretty boilerplate removal spells and Anguish Unmaking and Utter End. Great single target removal spells. 12 islands, 12 plains, 12 swamps.
Sweet. Well, let's go ahead and do this. We do have people watching us, so now I can't cheat
So you
with
can't.
my
So now you
coin
can't cheat
flipping.
like all the other times.
Yeah. Man, what I don't see a coin relatively near me.
How do you
So
not? You spent like $400 on customized coins. You don't have any near you.
not near me. Well, you got to remember, I haven't really like redone anything since
All
the
right. Do
big
you want me? Do you
tournament.
want me to flip? I got one
You
here.
got it. You got it.
All right. Here we go.
What kind of coin are we flipping though?
This is from Costa Rica. This is 500 colones.
Okay.
It's
So
a big heavy one.
What,
So do you want this is numbers and this is logo.
Oh, logo all day.
Okay, logo all day. Ready? All right, I'm gonna back up so people can make sure see that I.
Yeah,
no
guys,
foul
let
play
him make
at
sure
hand
he
here.
doesn't cheat, okay?
All right, here we go. Ready? Here we go. Oh. Oh. All right, I gotta do it again. Hold on. There we go. Boom, baby!
Damn it!
Numbers.
All right, you pick first or you pick second?
I'll pick second.
Damn it!
I'm gonna do the MrCombo route because it seems to be working for you. Going with the double.
because it's freaking great. All right, guys. So let's get into this. The first one I wanted to go with, infinite combo, off the bat.
Wait, hold on.
Infinite extra turns.
Wait, hold on. Is this a 2-drop?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's on my list. Damn it.
Time sieve, bitch.
Time sieve.
So this card costs Demir. It's an artifact. Tap it, sack 5 artifacts, take an extra turn after this. The card's about $9. The fact that on ETB you get 5 artifacts no matter what, you can immediately take another turn, even if they go ahead and remove it.
Assuming you still have 4 opponents.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. That is fair. You always have to make sure you have 4 opponents. But yeah, I think Time Sieve is such a slam dunk. Is this like #1 on like the primer page for this commander?
It's got to be, right? Like, and there's so many ways to tutor it if you want to do that. I think this is so we'll get into it. And so it gets even more broken. Time Sieve is just like it's just the start of the issue, right? Because you can there's so many ways in these colors to where you don't even have to attack, right?
Yep.
You're just gonna get it every turn no matter what. And this was one that came out from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms that I think is bonkers. And you could maybe kind of abuse it with Time Sieve itself once you get to that point, but Teleportation Circle is going to be a big blowout in here. So Teleportation Circle is 3 colorless and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact or 1 target creature you control, return to the battlefield under its owner's control. So now the issue that we were talking about as well was the combat damage can get kind of tricky if they just have a Birds of Paradise, right? They're not just going to let you take it. So now we don't even need to worry about that, right? And if you do have a surplus of things lying around, we'll just bounce Time Sieve. It enters the battlefield, tap it in response, and then sacrifice another 5 and just keep going from there.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think we're going to see a lot of synergy between these.
Yes. So I have one more. So this is my round 2, right?
Yep, this is your round 2.
So this is I'm gonna get this one out of the way and then move on to stuff more fun because what's better than 2 treasure tokens and 3 clue tokens? What's better than that?
10 treasure tokens?
How about 4 treasure tokens and 6 clues? Because our old pal Anointed Procession doesn't care what kind of tokens come down.
I didn't even think
3
of that.
colorless and a white for an enchantment, and if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. This is also not going to be a cheap deck. This is $25. So
that's $25 now.
Yeah, it's never been reprinted except for the list, which obviously counts, right?
Oh, obviously.
We count the list. Yeah, that's a slam dunk reprint. So again, if you're going to be creating the tokens no matter what, and you want to be able to fuel your draws and not have to worry about it,
yeah,
Annoying Procession is going to go bonkers. So I think this is going to be a really big part of the plan. So I have like a little minor token sub theme, but moreover, I'm just trying to get things that will, when they enter the battlefield, will trigger this ability.
Yeah, no, 100% makes sense. Well, I'm gonna complete round 2 with Conjurer's Closet.
Nice. Yep.
Just
Do
gotta
it.
do it. 5 colorless artifact. Beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. You can get the cheapest copies, actually the original Avacyn Restored for $6.50.
$6.
Yeah, I mean that's not terrible.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's same as your other enchantment. We're just trying to blank Trivet and get as many triggers as we can.
Let me ask you this: Can you, if you had Teleportation Circle and Conjurer's Coslet out at the same time, do you get 2 effects of it?
Well, so basically, what happens is both effects go on the stack, and I do
Right.
know we got some of our rules lawyers here from the Discord, so they'll put me in check if I'm
Oh.
wrong here in the Twitch chat. But both effects go on the stack. You have to target one of them. Let's say it's Conjurer's Closet at Trivet.
Right.
That effect has to resolve before the next one can even start its target. So then once Trivet's back, Trivet then actually has ETBs that goes on the stack ahead of your other one. Then when those resolve, you could then resolve it by targeting Trivet again.
Okay. So you can stack these multiple bounce spells at the beginning of the end step. Sick.
Yes.
See, I think this deck's too good. Like, we're already there.
Don't worry, BigTuck. Round 3, I'm going to make it even worse. How about
you're
if
doing
we don't
it?
have
Oh,
Time
you
Sieve,
scumbag.
we can get Kuldotha Forgemaster to go get our Time Sieve. 5 colorless artifact creature construct. It's a 3/5. Tap, sacrifice 3 artifacts, search your library for an artifact card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. And the cheapest copy you can get is about $3.70. So the thing I love about this, Tuck, what have we been kind of saying in the 20 minutes, 24 minutes we've been here? We're going to get 2 treasures and 3 clues probably. Well,
Right.
those 3 clues, I think I'd like to convert those into any artifact I want.
Turn it into something else? Yeah.
And then still have 2 treasures to, hey, counter magic, whatever I need to protect my stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Put up a threat. Absolutely. And then it's Kuldotha is really good. I almost put it in, but it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how sweaty and how strong I want to build this deck, right? Because I think Forge Master's a clear, like, this is going to take it over the top, right?
I mean, I will say this: out of all of my picks, I don't have any just like clear you win the game.
You win the game out. Okay.
So I think actually what you're getting is a hyper powerful value deck that you're still gonna have to work sweaty like to try to close out and win the game. But you're gonna be able to do whatever you want. It's just a matter of what you're doing. Is it actually gonna close it out?
Well, and I think after if you play this a couple times, or if I play this a couple times, I think you'll also figure out, like, okay, do I have too many sweaty pieces in, and I don't have enough removal, or I don't have enough tutors, or I don't have enough creatures to keep myself alive. Okay, cool. I'm gonna cut out one of the Conjurer's Closets and put in something to just like keep me alive through the game, right?
Absolutely. All right, Tuck, give us your last round 3.
I wish I didn't throw all these copies in the garbage because it just keeps coming back and back.
You.
But yes! But Tamio's Journal, you all laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me when this card came out when I was working at Optiver in Chicago, Trink. You all laughed at me when I bought them by the bulk for 50 cents, and now they're $5 on the list.
$5?
Well, $2.50, but the list one's $5. Still, it's a huge investment. So Tamio's Journal, 5 colorless for legendary artifact. It's rare from Shadows over Innistrad. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. Solid there. You get 2 with Annoyed Processions. And then you can tap, sack 3 clues specifically. Search your library for any card. Put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Blowout. Just an absolute blowout. I wish I had. I don't know where all these copies ran off to on these, man. And it really makes me upset.
I do, because it's just like my Bolus's Citadel. I got so hyped about that. I thought it was going to be so busted and broken, and then it really wasn't. And let's be honest, Tamio's Journal's really only busted or broken in this deck, because you're getting the clues every damn time.
And this or Lannis, I guess, but this one's even way. This one, I think out of, to your point, out of any card, this one is going to make your opponents think the most, right?
I was just
like,
thinking
we can't just give them.
Yeah, they can't. They have to pick treasures, right? They can't just pick clues.
I mean, or like only one of them have to, right?
Oh my gosh! It's like, do we want to give him 5 mana because you're gonna pick treasures,
right?
Or do we give him a free tutor and 2 mana?
Or do I pick a treasure and a clue to make it even harder for them to choose?
I don't
Because
think
then
so.
two
Because
of them
then
might go clue, one of them might go treasure.
because see, then you can have one person pick clue and the other people pick treasures, and then you still have good amount of treasures, but you only have 2 clues. I think if you
Yeah.
do it, you go clue clue, and it's like, okay, do you going to give me 3
Oh,
treasures or a free
that's
tutor?
the win. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think it's really good. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about talking about that card as always. Let's go for so we talked a little bit about not having a lot of creatures. One thing that I am going to put into this deck, obviously, is going to be Monarch mechanics because that's amazing. And I'm planning on getting the Monarch back when I punch you in the face with my 6/6 flying commander. So of all of them, I think Court of Grace is the
Ah,
one that probably has the longest reach in here. So it's 2 colors, 2 white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a
yeah.
1/1 white spirit token creature with flying. If you're the monarch, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead, and it's about $2. So for me, this is a great way to get monarch into the game, and then at least you're getting a blocker, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of creatures in mind, and the one that I do are really strong utility creatures. So I think when we're on the defensive, we're really gonna have to lean on tokens and our removal spells and interaction to get us out and not just get blown out by some Gruul deck.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to really disagree with kind of like what you've said there. You're obsessed with Monarch, I get it, so you're gonna
It's the best
slam it in when you
mechanic.
can. And I will say this is probably one of the better ones in an Esper build, just because Esper I always feel like kind of wants to be Pillow 40. Like
Yeah.
they aren't necessarily hyper aggressive. And so being able to have a token every rotation that can be a blocker, there's value in that.
Yep. Comparative to, I thought that way, comparative to discard or mill, which doesn't
Mhm.
do anything in this deck, right?
Oh my gosh, what do I go with here? I really don't
There's
know.
some good ones, man.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with this guy. So this card I found pretty interesting because of a lot of the mechanics we're going to put in the deck. So I think Soul Herder is one that you should really
Yeah,
look
it's on the
at.
list. It's so good.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
incredible. Nice.
Colorless Azorius. It's a 1/1 creature spirit. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Soul Herder. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your owner's control. The card you can
Come
pick up
on,
for
baby.
32 cents. Um,
I think this card is insanely good, right?
yes. I
Like
wish
kind
there
of
was
in
a way.
general.
Could you can you fling? Can you find some way to fling an Esper? Because I feel like this is
Oh
gonna get
God.
huge. And could you imagine flinging that for 20 or
Did you
25?
know what the first? And also, I'm not surprised because this came out originally in Modern Horizons, the original one.
What can I say? I have good taste.
Nailed it. Yeah, I think this is gonna get real big. I like we've already talked about 3 effects that do this, right? And I'm telling you, there's gonna be more that are even more filthy. So yeah, I think Soul Herder is just gonna be a great blocker, great way to jam up the board against your opponents.
And another one I thought would be pretty good, and this is normally looked at as draft chaff, but it's kind of commander protection. Kaya's
Oh,
ghost form, I thought would be a very cool way to kind of get what you need.
yes,
So, single
yeah, for
black,
sure.
enchantment aura, enchant a creature or planeswalker you control. It's from War of the Spark, another one of my favorite sets. And
Yep.
when enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, so basically everything but bounce, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So it's kind of this, well, do you want to waste your removal on Tivit? Because I'm just going to get it back and get another effect. Or do you want to waste your enchantment removal on Akaya's ghost form, knowing I'm an Esper and there could be an omniscience coming or something grosser?
Right. Yeah, I think it's great, and especially the low. I think the best part about this is the low cost, right? Because if you have this in hand, you can cast it the turn that you cast your commander, right? Because you're gonna
Yep.
at least get the 1 treasure token. And even though it's probably gonna be a one shot, that is so critical, right? This deck is super focused on its commander.
You think
What?
one shot. We'll get to that when it's my turn
Oh,
again.
okay. But yes, I think this is a great pick.
Cool. Well, hey, why don't you round out round 5
Okay.
and hit me with your best shot?
So we haven't done a lot of other cards that deal with this mechanic, which I think is very important too. And one of them that I was shocked, I think is the second most expensive card with voting on it, is a card that we've talked about several times before. Our old pal Coercive Portal. This card is incredible. 4 colorless for an artifact, Will of the Council. It's a mythic. At the beginning of your upkeep, starting with you, each player votes for Carnage or Homage. If Carnage gets more votes, sacrifice it, destroy all non-land permanents. If Homage gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw a card. Amazing. What do you play? 2 Homage, 2 Carnage? Like, you can completely swing the game on how you want to do it with this. This is like the best board wipe in the deck. It's $15. Can you believe that shit?
I can't believe that shit. But it's only been printed once in Conspiracy, so that kind of makes sense.
Correct, yeah. At Mythic, too.
So I'll say this. It's on theme for why you said you were excited about Trivet, with it being
Yes.
the will of the council's, judgment, whatever. So I get it. I just don't know if I like it in here because I kind of feel like you don't control your destiny.
A little bit, but I don't know. I think it's cute enough. Because most times I think you're going to go for Homage in here, right? And you're going to leave it to your opponents to go for the Carnage.
Here's the thing, though. Without your commander, you do have a chance to just tie and just draw a card. With your commander, you have no chance of. But with your commander on the battlefield, you will either blow up everything or draw a card.
It's one or the other.
You get one or the other. So that's where you have to be real careful because typically that's how I've seen this card played. Is it's just a normal voting card, and usually the person who has it, they're like, okay, Homage, and their board's gross, but there's always one person that doesn't want to have a board wipe happen. They're like, you know what? I don't care. So I'm voting Homage as well. You guys vote Carnage, but we're tying, and they're going to get to draw a card. With your commander, you're never going to get that flexibility. So be careful what you wish for.
That's true. But I do have another card in here. Maybe my least favorite card. One of my least favorites has ever been printed. But I think this deck, if I build it, is going to give me a reason to finally buy one. Let's hear it, MrCombo. Like your favorite card. One of your favorite cards ever printed.
Altar of the Brood?
No! It's costs a gazillion mana.
Expropriate.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Merry
wow!
Christmas.
You did that. Oh my gosh.
It's so good. You have to put it in here. 7 colorless double blue for sorcery that's also a mythic for $28. Ugh. Sorcery, Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. Exile, expropriate. I mean, if you're going to go in for a penny, in for a pound, right? Like, if you're going to go in for Will of the Council, you got to go all the way. And believe me, there are not as many cards that are good that you think there are.
All right. I would like the
I'm
collective. While BigTucks figures out Mr. Bubs, I'd like the collective to remember that BigTuck said, I have to put it in. So now when I play decks and I put Mana Crypt, or I put I put Trop Island in there, or Expropriate, a card I put in a lot of decks. He's like, well, you have to do that. I'm like, I have to have it in here. It's what the deck wants to do.
None of your decks deal with voting. This is the one deck that deals with voting.
But I have decks that deal with extra turns. I have decks that deal with taking your permanents. It's an auto-include. I have to.
Is not the same.
He likes to mold the Play-Doh into how it works out for him. I see it.
It is not the same, and you know it. So that's my round 6 pick. Glad to get that out of the way.
Well, I'm going to combo with my Kaya's Ghost Form pick
that's so good.
into completing out the round 6 with, and I did the math, Sun Titan. It makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
It actually makes a lot of sense in this type of build because I've noticed a lot of the permanents that I have at least included are CMC 3 or less. A lot of the ones we did in our pre-show were 3 or less. And there's going to be stuff like your Kaya's Ghost Forms where it's a one-time use permanent and you'd like to be able to recycle it. So I think it has a lot of flexibility on top of the fact we're going to have a Blink sub-theme because of Trivet. And you might decide, you know what? I actually don't need Trivet. I need to Blink Sun Titan so I can get this other permanent
back. Graveyard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay. And it's like our least favorite card ever printed.
Rampaging Baloth. So
that's true. Someone was saying, I saw something on Twitter where someone's like, Rampaging Baloth needs to be played more, and it's like, no, it does not.
Go to hell.
It decidedly does not. Absolutely not. Good pick. I like it.
All right. Well, going into round 7, let's go.
Oh, I got that one too. Yes, it's so good.
Dude, I'm taking all your picks. I hope you picked way more than 40.
I picked like 45, I think. So.
Goodness. Well, thorough investigation, if you guys are not familiar, and I want to say Treefolk said that this was not a good card. Maybe it was dungeon specific, but thorough investigation, 2 colorless white, enchantment, Sun Titan, let's go. Whenever you
Yeah,
attack
sure.
investigate, well, you kind of have to do damage with your commander if you want to get the trigger again, so you're going to be attacking. And then whenever you sacrifice a clue, venture into the dungeon. And here's the thing I like about that. We've already talked about some different ways to sacrifice clues, Kuldotha Forge Master, Time Sieve. It doesn't
Sure.
say whenever you sacrifice a clue and draw a card. It's just sack a clue in any which way. So how cool would it be if you sacked 5 clues for Time Siege and you get 5 venture into the dungeons?
Wait, can you just go on infinite loops in dungeons? I guess you kind of can, right? Like,
Yeah.
how many? Isn't each dungeon only 5 layers?
No, I think the Mad Mage might be a little deeper.
Okay.
Maybe.
What's one of the ones that's got the loop? Is it one of them? One of them has the loop in it where you can like kill your opponents because it deals damage or something.
Well, so the looped one is with Acerak. So if you're putting
Right.
Acerak in the deck, then yeah, there's one dungeon that you can go to that every time Acerak comes out and goes back to hand, but you have to have a way to play Acerak. So that's why I usually do
Right.
Rooftop Storm,
Rooftop Storm or
Omniscience,
whatever.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. All right. Well,
Sick pick,
Tuck,
though.
what do you got for 7?
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit
Uh-oh.
because even though your commander is big, it still can be blocked, and I want it to be even bigger because I think we want to get this guy into pretty big, almost one-shot territory. And this is a card that I think is worth its weight in gold, and that card is, of course, Nettle Cyst, one of my baby favorite cards of recent years. So 3 colorless for an artifact equipment that's a rare for Modern Horizons 2. It's about $1.47. It's a living weapon. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 black Phyrexian German creature token, then attach it to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Equipped for 2.
Oh,
Now you
God.
have it. Now,
I already know one of your other picks.
what?
I don't want to say it. I don't want to ruin it for you. Do you want me to
What
say
do you
it?
like this one?
Well, no, I
No.
do. It's just the fact that you have this, you clearly also have all that glitters on your list as well.
No, I don't actually. I didn't put that in because I don't like the fact that it's an enchantment because I'm not running any enchantment. Bring it back. But guess what that card is good with?
Sun Titan.
Sun Titan.
I
Is this the
love
only
this.
deck? Is this the only deck that we like Sun Titan in?
I guess because you can't even run Sun Titan in CMC3 Tribal because he's too fucking big.
Yeah, he's too big.
Yeah, I actually
okay,
looked at
so-
Sun Titan funny enough for the 6 CMC thing. Someone's like, what about Sun Titan? I'm like, read the card. It's 3 CMC.
Reading the card explains the card. That's amazing.
But no,
okay,
this is great. I really like it. I like the fact that you're getting +5/+5 when your commander ETBs. So, hey, Nettle Cyst equipped for 2. Maybe if you got some sort of haste enabler, man, you're smacking for some big damage.
Yeah, I like the flying maybe isn't good enough, but I don't know. There should always be a target to swing in on, right?
Mm-hmm. And
would
it's
think.
Ward 3 on Trivet, so he's a little bit more difficult to get rid of. So slam
Absolutely.
dunk. I think you could have a sub Voltron esque theme to this.
I think that's one of the faster ways to winning. And all the glitters is also going to be slam dunking here, but I don't have it on my list. But I do have this one because we talked about like, okay, you're going to get 2 treasures. They're going to take 3 clues, right? But I don't want to give them an actual choice. I want to give them something that's going to make them hurt, right? And I want to keep guiding them in the right direction. And there's a card that I'd never heard of before called Grudge Keeper that is going to do just that. So a colorless and a black for a 2/1 zombie wizard. Whenever players finish voting, each opponent who voted for a choice you didn't vote for loses 2 life. So guess what?
So
you
mean.
can't win. You can't win no matter what. I don't care what you do. You're gonna pay for it.
And guess what, Tuck? Sun Titan.
What? Yeah, it's Sun Titan MVP in the deck.
Oh my gosh!
But how great is that, right?
This is compelling.
It's like mind game. It's like mind games. The blowout.
So here's the thing. When do you think is the perfect time to play Grudge Keeper? Obviously, you want Trivet out on the battlefield, so let's just put that to the side.
I think it. I
Is it
think it.
early game when people have high life totals and they're willing to spend it to go against you, or do you want it in the late games when people are in the 15 or less?
I think you want it when you're. I think you want this where you're getting multiple Trivet triggers a turn, right? Like I would want to have a Soul Hoarder or an Anointed or a Teleportation Circle or something else out where I'm getting it happening more than once, right? I don't really know if you get the value if you're just getting it once a turn. So, and to your point, I think this is like a mid to late game play. It's 2 CMC, so I think people are going to be tempted to just rush it out as soon as possible, but it's
Sure.
going to die to a board wipe. It's going to deal 2 points of damage to somebody. I think this is. I think to your point, it's like a mid to late game play.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. But you know what's just a little bit better? How about some counter spell magic? But
Oh,
but we do it in the flavor of Big Tuck.
oh, I think I know what this is.
Let's assert our authority. Assert authority. We are talking
Oh,
5 colorless. Oh gosh. Sorry about that. Let's get that copied.
oh,
Yeah, so assert authority is 5 colorless blue blue, but it has affinity for artifacts. So it costs
oh,
1
I
less
like
for
that.
each artifact you control. So really, 1 Tivit in ETB, it just costs blue blue. So counter spell.
Yep.
Counter target spell. If it's countered this way, remove it from the game instead of putting it in its owner's graveyard. And this guy is about 17 cents, so it's pretty cheap. So, Tuck, I know you
Very
don't
cute.
like traditional counter spell type rigmaroles,
Mm,
but I think it's still a piece of the game that you have to embrace because it's kind of like a
yeah,
board wipe. You kind of have to have them.
you got
And
to have them in
so
there. Yeah.
if you want to have fun with it, I think assert authority is a cool way to do it. Plus, people do so many graveyard rigmaroles. Oob made a good point about this on the budget shop this last week, where the graveyard truly is a second hand and second deck.
Oh, for
So
sure.
exiling the spell is very powerful.
Yeah, I like it. It's a little sweaty, but I think in the good way. And no one's gonna see it coming too, right? Like,
Mm-mm.
I think this is gonna be a fun card where it's like, wait, what does this do? It's like, is this a counter spell? Like, well, why does it cost 5? It's like it doesn't. Don't worry about it, right? We're gonna be playing right into that.
Yep. Well, number 9, I just had to pepper in an infinite combo, every 9 or 8
Another one.
cards. Let's talk Deadeye Navigator.
Oh,
And
yeah, fine.
don't find me. 4 colorless blue blue creature spirit. It's a rare. It's a 5/5. It has soul bond. So when it or another creature ETBs, you could pair them together, and they remain paired for as long as you control both of them. And as long as Deadeye is paired with another creature, each of those creatures pay a colorless blue, exile this creature, then return it. So effectively, you can actually get infinite clues because no one's going to pick treasure to give you
Right.
infinite mana. But you get infinite clues. That's something.
I like it. No, I think okay. I'm gonna do you one better because I think we could go even deeper into this combo, right? So we get that online, right? And then what if we give everyone? It's. I think I've said this before on the cast. When I travel with my parents, there's never really. I don't really have a say into what I do. I just am along a roller coaster ride, right? So if you try to resist, you have bad times. So I call this the illusion of choice. And Illusion of Choice, in my opinion, is maybe the best card in the deck, and here's why. For 1 blue, it's an instant. You choose how each player votes this turn and
This
draw a card.
turd.
So you got Grudge Keeper on the
Oh
battlefield.
my
You play
gosh.
Deadeye Navigator. You bounce him once. You play Illusion of Choice on the stack, and then you just intentionally make them choose the other ones that you don't choose, and then just kill them with Grudge Keeper. The sweatiest 4-card infinite combo of all time. I
I
think if I
love
pull
it.
that, I think if I pull that off in a game, I'm just done. I'm like, this is it. I can't. I will not be
All
able
of a
to.
sudden, Big Tuck tweeting or on Twitter, whatever his thing is, it just gets closed down. The
Yeah,
CMD
shut
Tower
down.
site shuts down. His mailing
we're,
address has disappeared, and it's
we're
like, what
done
happened?
here.
It's like, guys, 4-card combo, illusion of choice. You know what happened?
Yeah, 4-card combo with the keep with the centerpiece being Illusion of Choice.
Jesus.
I think it's the best card in the deck, right? Like, how is it not?
I mean, I'm
You think
pretty
it's
sure we already decided Sun Titan is the best card in the
Oh,
deck.
Sun Titan is actually an MVP for sure. Except it won't get the next one I want to talk about. But this is another great counterspell in lieu of this because again, it really like this deck. I think one of the reasons I like this deck so much is like we talk a lot about like opponent modal choices, right? where your opponents have to make the choices and you don't. And a card like this, Split Decision, is really going to hammer that home. So a colorless and a blue for an instant. Will of the Council. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. Starting with you, each player votes for denial or duplication. If denial gets more votes, counter the spell. If duplication gets more votes and the vote is tied, copy the spell. You may choose 2 targets for the copy, and it's $2.77.
So the thing I love about this is with your
Is it
commander out on the
madness?
battlefield, no, it's just however you decide to vote, it's either that's it or it's the complete opposite. So if someone casts their own expropriate, you're like, hey, split decision. I'm gonna choose duplication twice. Do you guys want me getting expropriate, or do you want to counter their expropriate?
It's incredible, right? Like and also it's like the part that I love about it, it's costed like Arcane Denial, right? It's like the same. It's easier to cost than Narset's Reversal. So what are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, I really like that. That's a cute card, because the thing that you just don't think about with Trivet, since you get the 2, is that whoever spell you're targeting that with, they have to vote. So if you vote duplication twice, it's like, do you want me to get it as well, or do you just want to counter your own spell?
Or just want to end this right now, because we know that probably 2 copies of this is going to be not good.
Yeah,
non-good, if you will.
Oh man, that is super cool. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do it just because we do have almost 10 people watching. And
Whoa.
what deck would be complete if we didn't talk about Alter the Brood? Come on, let's go.
You son of a bitch.
Heyo. So we are talking colorless artifact. I don't need to look it up. It comes from Cons, and it essentially states.
I was like, is it got a stutter step into this?
Nope. And it's a rare. There is a Ugin's Fate promo that's usually about double to triple the price. And the card is Banana Hammock. So whenever a permanent enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent takes the top card of their library and puts it into their graveyard. So come on, man.
What's the flavor text?
Oh, I have no clue.
Come on.
Why would I know that?
Well, why do you think I like Dreadhorde Invasion so much? Because there's no room for flavor text on the card.
But yeah, I mean, literally one Trivet ETB is 6 mil. You cannot argue with 6 on one thing coming in.
What else the absolute best part about this is?
It's on your list.
No, it's not. Oh, absolutely not. But one of the decks I took apart has my one and only copy of Alter the Brood in it.
Ding, ding, ding. That is the right answer.
I guess it got a new home already.
I mean, there's zero reason not to do it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the whole thing with me and Alter the Brood is I think it's like worthwhile for one CMC that, even if you only get 2 triggers per rotation, I still think it's good. But if you're getting potentially 6 to 12 a rotation, fudge.
Yeah.
Fudge.
Someone in ChartSpark in the chat said he said the thing.
I know. I saw it. Well, my next pick for round 11 is going to be a great gross card to pair with Alter the Brood.
Oh no!
How about Brago joins the deck?
This was kind of on the list, yeah.
Brago King Eternal, baby. 2 colorless Azorius. It's white and blue. Legendary creature, Spirit Noble. It's a 2/4. And it has flying, and it's a rare. Whenever Brago King Eternal deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So at bare minimum, you're always doing Trivet. We've already talked about it, Tuck. You have to swing. You're gonna swing.
Yeah.
So here's the cool thing about Brago. Trivet does have that ward 3, which makes it more difficult to get rid of. I could see where people are going to Dryad Arbor it. They're going to try to find some ways to shut it off.
Transformation.
Transformation. Do those things where then it's like, well, gosh, I got to try to figure out a way to kill it. Brago blinks it, and now you got Trivet back.
Yeah.
And now you're getting your triggers again. But then on top of that, with your other stuff, your Sun Titans, all these other ETB effects, you're just going to have too much value. I think you have to have Brago in the 99.
I did just open one of these in Double Masters 2 as well. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So if you swing in, just make sure that I'm thinking through this right. If you swing in with both of them and they both connect,
Yep.
you can choose which order they go on, right?
Yeah,
So you can do
absolutely.
Tivets, Will of the Council, and then bounce it and do it again, right?
Yes. But the thing is,
Excellent.
though, it's
Okay.
like the council his Tivet's combat trigger will be on the stack. So even if you wanted
Right.
to blink it first with Brago,
Oh, it's
it's
still yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
there. So you're still gonna get it. Yeah, they're basically once you've connected and the triggers are there, you're gonna get your first one. The only way someone could interrupt it is that they swords to plowshared and paid 4 mana to do so. And then you
Right, right,
couldn't
right, right,
blink it
right.
with Brago. So
Okay. Oh, that's not too bad.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
Brago's sweet.
I know, and I hate that card too. I mean, Mikel gave me nightmares with it,
Yeah,
but
I know. Like I like even opening it or drawing it, as we say out here, out of a pack. I was like, I think I should just burn this. What is this? This is 50 cents. What are you
there
gonna
you
do?
go. All right,
Okay.
round 11.
So this is another card that is completely busted in here because what's better than what's better than just getting one Tivet trigger every time he connects?
Are you putting in fucking Spark Double?
What? No.
Oh,
I'm not paying $11 for that card. I only own one. No, Stronic Resonator,
damn you!
baby.
That was on mine.
Damn you. 2 colorless for an artifact that also has a triggered ability of 2 tapped. Copy target triggered ability you control. May choose 2 targets with a copy. Why not? Just pay every time he attacks. You just pay 2, and here you go. Interesting thing on this though was it just got reprinted in the Obscura. It just got reprinted in the Obscura Precon, and like the price is the exact same almost as every single other printing,
Hmm.
which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's
anyways,
probably because like new art. I mean, the art does look pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
that new art does look pretty slick.
and you just effectively have an infinite combo with this Brago and Soul Ring. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Wait, no.
I think
Wait, you
you
have an infinite. Well, oh yeah, with Soul Ring.
yeah the
Yeah,
Soul
yeah.
Ring. Yeah, I mean you could technically you can do it with Tivet too. But
Right.
yeah, like Strionic's gonna be great for this deck. You're gonna have all these triggered abilities that are just freaking flying around.
That's what I'm saying. I think this deck's too good. I think it's too good.
Why don't you just tell your playgroup to get good?
Get good. It's not. It's not the spirit of the competition that we like to do. Okay. I'm gonna go. So where are we at? We're at 12. I'm gonna do. You just did a bounce. I'm gonna do another way that I think This is gonna help kind of speed the game along.
Okay.
With dealing the damage in. It's a new background, so we can't pair it with the commander, but I think it does do a lot of work. And that one is Agent of the Iron Throne.
Ah.
So it's 2 colorless and black for legendary enchantment background. It's an uncommon. And it has commander creatures you own have. Whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses a life. So kind of like a pseudo reverse Alter the Brood, right? Because we're going to be sacrificing treasures to then pop clues, to draw cards, to make more treasures, to sacrifice them. So I think this is a card that even if it deals 10 damage a piece over the course of the game, which is 2 turn cycles effectively if you have the right mana to crack everything, I think that's well worth the effort for 3 mana. And we're always going to have our commander out because it's so critical for how this deck runs.
And I think it's cool because I actually look at this as a actual true win con that
Yeah.
you will have combos in this deck that just net you a crap ton of clues, and that's it.
Right.
It's like you're sacking your treasures for your Deadeye, but you're just getting an excess amount of clues because you're always having to spend your mana. Well, now every single treasure you sack is now dinging them for a life. So I like it because it gives you multiple avenues to be able to close out the game. I mean, we've already established we got a Brago infinite, we have a Tivet infinite, we got infinite turns, infinite damage. It's 3 CMC, so our boy, you can bring it back.
Of course. I didn't even think about that. God.
You can't escape it.
Oh my God.
All right.
This deck's gonna be too good, man. I can tell it already. It's gonna cost $2,000. It's gonna be way too good.
Well, don't worry. I'm gonna jack up your budget right
You're
here.
gonna put the price right now. Great.
I don't think you own a copy of this. I think
Oh
you
no.
need
Oh, I
Clan
do. Yes,
Ironworks.
I just took it out of my deck.
Boom. There we go. Crack Clan Ironworks is my round 12. And I think it's so choice. Unfortunately, not
it's
Sun
really
Titan targets, but Crack Clan Ironworks costs 4 CMC. It's an artifact. It's, I think, actually a rare, but it was printed back when it was an uncommon, or they just didn't do the color. I don't know. $24 is the cheapest legit
I'm
copy you can
sorry.
get.
I believe
Legit,
it's
legit.
11. The world I
It,
actually own I would happily trade anyone my one normal copy for two of the other ones for anyone listening.
sacrifice an artifact, add 2 colorless to your mana pool. So I liked this because if your
Yeah.
opponents do stick it to you by always giving you clues, now your clues are effectively double treasures, just colorless.
Yeah, right. And like now a clue can pop at the other clue too,
Yep.
right? So 2
Mhm.
clues draw 1 card is pretty solid. Is this becoming too much like Brea?
No, not at all.
Because that card was an all-star in Brea. I feel like this is just Brea with more steps.
Well, don't worry. My round 13 is going to make it feel very Brea-like.
Oh no.
We're talking grinding station.
Oh god. No.
2 colorless grinding station. It's an artifact.
Yeah.
Whenever an artifact comes into play, you may untap grinding station and tap, sack an artifact. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Once again, it's giving us multiple avenues to deal with people if we have just an excessive amount of clues. You cast Trivet. You're going to get 5 triggers on the stack to untap this thing. You can kind of figure out how you want to do it. I think this is a chef's kiss for this deck.
Oh, it's so good. $14. Oh.
Do you not own one?
All right. I don't think so. I don't think I ever bought this card because I think it's too degen. But it is very good, and I love the mill. Like again, it's just another avenue, right? To mill through damage, through turns, whatever you want. So I have another. If we're talking about big game end winners here, I got another one that's pretty brutal. Another one that's great in Brea. Our boy, the big man himself, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge.
Is this just
Mythic Planeswalker?
Is just this Esper Brea essentially?
I think yeah. I don't know, man. I think it kind of is. I think it kind of has to be, but who knows? If we could, maybe if we could get like a companion in it on here, we can like limit the power level, but that didn't work for Brea, so who knows if it's gonna work for this. But anyways, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, 4 colorless, blue black for legendary planeswalker Tezzeret. It is a mythic rare because of the 5 loyalties for about $9. Creatures and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts, so even God help you that your commander dies. Not going to cost very much after more. Pretty much all we're going to be doing is +2ing this mof every turn, because +2, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. -3, return target artifact card from your graveyard to hand. Also excellent, and kind of par for the course. -8, I think, is the weakest, right?
Yeah,
like X on the top 10 card of the library, put all artifact cards among them onto the battlefield, which in theory sounds good, but I feel like all of the artifacts that we have are like enablers, right? Like none of them are like real big haymakers in the way that like a creature or something like that would. But just being able to +1 him and being everyone for 10 or 15 or whatever it's going to end up being, just so much value, and getting that life up because you're going to get hammered. People are going to be coming in, swinging in with you when your defenses are down. Just what a powerhouse.
Yeah, I think this is the first time a Planeswalker's first activation ability is like the yeast, if we're going to true Brews and Builds.
Yeah, right.
Because you could +2 so when it comes down. It's like, hey, everyone takes 7 each.
Yeah, and I'll just gain 7 life, no big deal.
NBD.
It's so good.
All right, what's your 14?
Okay, let's see here. Are we at the point? Do we want to do? Oh, I got it. Another way we win. This kind of plays. I think I'll probably. Here's what I'm expecting is going to happen. I'm going to build this. It's going to be too strong, and then I'm going to take out pieces of it to make it more like political in theme. And one of the cards that feels that it kind of does it both ways, and also makes your commander go brrr, is Duelist Heritage.
Oh my god!
So 2 colorless and white with an enchantment. Whenever one or more creatures attack, you may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turns. Yes, that is 2 Trivet triggers. So however you want to deal that out, this card's 55 cents. Completely bonkers.
Count it. Sun Titan target.
Yes, of course. Even better.
Yeah, actually, I think Duelist Heritage for 55 cents, we are not a spec channel. Please don't listen to us.
No.
But you can
also. Also the Brood. We were right one time.
Yes.
One time alone.
I would actually like to say this. I was right on that because you still judged me up until the point.
That is fair. I still judge you now for it.
But the Jumpstart copy you get actually for under 50 cents. So I will tell you this.
Yes.
This seems like the card, kind of like Ristic Study back probably when it got printed, where it was like, oh, it's good, but is it going to be that good? Decades later, the card's, one of the more sought after expensive cards.
Yeah.
This, because it's not just your creatures, it's so powerful and it's such a good
Yeah.
political card. So I would say if you're in a meta where you like to be a little politicky, or even in a meta where people are swinging, for under 50 cents, go buy 10 copies. Spend $5, get 10 of
Yeah.
these things because you'll use them. In worst case, they'll probably be worth at least $1.50, $2 in a few years.
Yeah, before this got printed, I think this was like before it got reprinted, and it got like 3 reprints real quick, but I
Yeah.
think before that it was like $5.
hmm
So, I mean, it was expensive at some point for sure.
Okay. I mean, we are kind of getting down to it, but I
Yeah,
want
we're
to
getting down to the
continue.
dog days
I
here.
want to continue the degen because we like
Okay.
Trivet because of all
Oh,
the
oof.
triggers. How about we get even more when Tivit hits with Grim Hireling, 3
Yeesh.
colorless black creature, Tiefling Rogue. It's a rare. It's a 3/2, and it states whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. Pay a black, sacrifice X treasures. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. 3/2
Yeah.
for what? 250. Oh wow, that's a lot more expensive than I thought.
Oh, look at the original. Look at the price of some of the alternate stuff, man. This used to be like $10 when it got printed.
So I think for me, the ceiling is you're hitting with Tivit. You're getting 5
Yeah.
of your tokens and at least 2 treasures, like we've talked about. And now it's actually you hit with Tivit, you get 4 treasures and then probably 3
Right.
clues. But it could also come down to one of those things to where, and we've seen this, Tuck, where once you get an excess amount of treasures, people kind of they quit caring about the treasure count.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
for
it's
sure.
and so I think with the Grim Hireling, with you getting 4, you could probably leverage your politicking skills and be like, look, I already got 4. Do you really want to give me clues to give me more card draw? Or do you just want to give me
Yes,
mana?
Yes, that exactly. No, I think it's sweet. And like, I think there's gonna be some like, who knows what this is gonna end up looking like, but I think there's gonna be some like, uh, Sun Titan, the best card in the deck, coming in for 6 damage. People aren't gonna be able to block that all day. So I think two at a minimum, and then 4, maybe 6, depending on the board state at kind of the top end, because it is each opponent. Pretty solid.
Yeah. All right. You ready for Granddaddy?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Let's go. How about a little Urza?
I I
I bet
I can't do it. I
You
can't.
can, because you're going to have a CEDH deck or high powered deck with Urza, so you'll have a copy.
I
Urza,
already have a copy. It was in Brea and I took it
two
apart.
two colorless, blue, legendary creature, human artificer. It's a mythic. It's a 1/4. When it ETBs, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Tap an untapped artifact you
So
control for a
big.
blue. Pay 5 colorless, shuffle your library, then exile the top card, and then until end of turn you may play it without paying its mana cost. $50 for a copy.
I literally looked up cards of like, show me all cards that you can tap an artifact to do something. And this was like, I actually was like doom scrolling. I was like, can't do that, too strong. Can't do that, too strong. And then like right near the end was this. I was like, God, like, am I gonna put this in here? It's so good.
Yeah, so here's kind of the way I'm gonna look at this in the Tuck eyes. Okay, I'm gonna sell it
Okay.
how you need to be sold. You don't have
All
to
right.
go some infinite degenerate stuff with Urza. That's not something you ever have to do or have the ability to do.
Sure.
But if you remember from the high powered deck we talked about for you, one of the kickers was getting a lot of these ETBs and getting these construct armies. You already talked about the
Yeah.
Nettleless with, hey, throw that on Tivit and it's huge. Just Urza is going to give you a construct that's doing that same thing. And so now you're
Right.
getting these army of 9/9s and 10/10s that you can actually hit people with. But then there is the value of now I can tap clues for blue.
Right.
Or if I don't.
And it's such a good, and like you said, like with the blink, like because that's such a big component.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
There
so good. I mean, it's so good. It's so
But
good.
here's the thing: you already put expropriate in the deck.
Yeah, I
What's
guess
the harm in doing Urza?
in for a penny, in for a pound, right?
I'm just using your logic against you. That's all.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
somebody has to, for
well,
God's sakes.
why don't you complete round 15?
So this card I was excited about before because it's a hysterical political card. It's even better because guess what? Fucking Sun Titan, Deadly Designs, colorless and a black for an enchantment. This one's wild. So 2 colorless, put a plot counter on Deadly Designs. Any player may activate this ability. When there are 5 or more plot counters on Deadly Designs, sacrifice it. If you do, destroy up to 2 target creatures. So I like it because it's a little bit of like, it's a more fun removal, right? It gives you an outlet for something to do with your excess mana that you don't need to spend treasures
Sure.
on. It kind of incentivizes other people to kind of political against with you, right? Because you could be blowing up any creatures.
Okay.
And it gets brought back from Sun Titan.
Yeah, the Sun Titan just makes it that much better.
I'm,
I
I'm pulling in tutors only for Sun Titan. Give me the Titan.
I like it, but I would say this. I don't know your
It's
playgroup out
sweaty.
there.
It's a sweaty one, big time.
It's super, super sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
And I would look at this as your 101, 102 card in the deck. So, kind of like how we talked about earlier. If you were like, yeah, if we got too cute and we needed more vanilla stuff, like, you know, the best removal card ever, Murder, suck it. Then I think Deadly Designs would be one of the ones to cut. But if you had a very interactive group where they're like, oh my gosh, yes, throw 2 on there, throw 2 on
Yeah.
there. BigTuck, please destroy those creatures for
Yeah,
us.
you have to be our man, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
Okay, so and then I'm gonna save that one for
Ooh.
later. Where are we? Okay, let's do this one. This is kind of sweaty, but I think it's got some range to it. Actually, it's more slimy because 1 Trivet is good, but 2
Spark double.
Trivets are even better. No, Sakashima the Imposter, because you can bounce it back to hand with the 2 treasures you create, so you always get it back. 2 colorless and 2 blue for legendary creature Human Rogue. That's a 3/1. As it comes into play, you may choose a creature in play. If you do, Sakashima comes into play as a copy of that creature, except its name is still Sakashima the Imposter. It's still legendary, and it gains 2 colorless double blue. Return Sakashima the Imposter to its owner's hand until end of turn.
Yeah, so it's not 2 mana to bounce it back. It's 4 mana.
No, but so you'll already have the 2 from Trivet, and then you cast this, and then you choose 2 treasures on both of them, so you can always just rebuy this one back.
Sure.
Worst case scenario, right?
Okay.
But again, that's and like you can kind of protect it a little bit. So just of all the clones out there, Spark Double's probably better because it comes in with a 1/1 counter or whatever. But I just like the repeatability of Sakashima. And I think it's just kind of like a more fun card to play in general.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I just wanted to clarify it wasn't just like, because I was like, wait, she's not a colorless blue to bounce back. Like,
No.
that's
All
right, I'm gonna go a little vanilla here.
Okay. I might do the same. I might do the same to round out until we get the lightning round.
Oh, I'm not doing that, but
Oh,
I do think you need Idol of Oblivion in the deck.
yes.
2 colorless artifact,
Very
tap,
strong.
draw a card, activate if you've only created a token this turn, so you're always going to get to draw an extra card. And then you do have the 8, sacrifice it to make a 10/10 Eldrazi, and it is 2 mana, so Sun Titan can grab it. So if it is a point in the game where it's like, I genuinely cannot get Trivet back out to do my thing again, I just need to sack Idol of Oblivion over and over and over and just make a bunch of 10/10s. It's super slimy, but at least it's something that you could do late game.
I think it's good. I think like for the price and for what you get out of it, 2 mana to draw a card every turn. It's like a free it's like a free clue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for playing the game, and then you have this outlet of this giant beast if you need it, which I think it's good. I think it's a good card.
All right,
and especially it's like what? Yeah, $1. Fine.
Yeah. And then my next one's going to be super basic Swiftfoot boots, 2 colorless equipment. Equip for 1, target creature gets, or equipped creature gets haste and, oh my gosh, I keep wanting to say Shroud. Hexproof, thank you. I did have Lightning Greaves on my list, but as we've been talking and with all the blinking that we're doing, I think Lightning Greaves is a little bit like Deadly Designs. It could be the 101 and 102 card, because as long as you have another creature, you can get it off of Trivet, then I think you're okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that I don't know how the deck's going to play, I think at least you need Swiftfoot Boots. Protect it. It's hexproof, so you can still blink it, and it is only 1. So it's like if you cast Trivet, you get 2 treasures, immediately use 1 treasure to equip Trivet, then you're hitting again, so you've actually gotten netted 3 treasures that turn instead of 4. I think that's still all right.
Yeah, I agree. And like if you look through the list, I think we're only going to have maybe 10 creatures in the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. So I think I like your line of thinking um when it comes to Swiftfoot over
Lightning.
Swiftfoot over Lightning Greaves. Yeah.
All right, Tuck, give us your round 17.
So we are gonna need board wipes, and I looked through a lot of them, and I think I found the one that I like the most in Time Wipe.
Oh, okay.
So this is an interesting one. 2 colorless, double white, and a blue for sorcery. So you return a creature you control to its owner's hand, and then wipe all creatures.
Yep.
So for me, Tivit's going to be the best creature in the deck, obviously. So just having a way to get him back, clear the board. You'll probably have treasures and shit left over just to recast him and get the treasure train going again.
Yep.
As far as like board wipes go, you got to have them. I think this is probably one of the better choices for this deck.
Yep. I see nothing wrong with it. I mean, I would see Time Wipe all the time in Arena. So, of course, I have
Oh yeah, your
PTSD from
favorite.
it. So,
And then another great removal spell in general, but especially when you get another vote, is Council's Judgment.
oh,
So this
okay.
card is a blowout. Colorless double white for a sorcery. Will of the Council, starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for the most votes. So since you get 2, this makes it even worse for everyone else.
Yeah.
Because normally what you can do is you can be like, okay, I'm choosing this one, and then everyone can just be like, okay, I'm only voting for that, and then it's a 1-for-1, right? But here, I think it's at least a 2. I'm really bad with thinking through the logic of voting, but
You
if you have
can't.
Tivit out, it's at least a 2-for-1, right?
Uh-uh. Because
Because
it's
they can still go on. They can still all
yeah,
go on the other one,
they
right?
can
Yeah.
still all pile on. So
But
essentially, what
you still give them the choice to, because this is going to make them do politics because you choose one for player A, one for player B, and then they all start yelling at each other, right?
yes, but here's the thing: you're then voting in odd numbers. So no matter
Mm.
what, if they all put their things on those 2 creatures, then you're gonna have one with 3 and one with 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the only
Mm.
way it actually works the way you want it to is if you end up targeting stuff and they're like, "Well, we're allies. We can't target each other, so we got to target his stuff." And he's like, "Well,"
Right.
or she's like, "Screw you. I'm going to
Yeah.
target your stuff." So you kind of have to get it to where it's like a 2 and 2 and then someone has a
Yes.
single vote on another thing, which I don't think you'll ever get.
Or the dream scenario that you get a 5-for-1 and everyone because everyone's so angry with each other. They're like, fuck it, I don't care.
No, your Magic Christmas Land is being able to cast what was it, Illusion of Choice?
Oh yeah, you do this into Illusion of Choice and
And then you
just
just
like
pick
mini board wipe. That'd be incredible.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Illusion of Choice,
All
so good.
right. So my next one is a card that you were pretty hot on. I think a lot of people like it. I wasn't super big on it, but I think in this deck it's actually pretty good. Fane the
Oh
Broker,
yes,
another
yeah, I
good
like
Sun
it.
Titan target, of course. That's
Yep.
this episode is brought to you by Sun Titan. It's a 2 colorless black legendary creature, human warlock. It's a rare. It's a 3/3, and you can get this guy for 78 cents, so pretty cheap. And
Yeah,
it
very
has
cheap.
4 activated abilities. So the base one, 3 colorless black, untap Fane the Broker. Tap,
Yep.
sacrifice a creature, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Tap, remove a counter from a creature you control, create a treasure token. Tap, sack an artifact, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. And before you even ask, yes, I already looked into Intruder Alarm and I couldn't work the math in my head, so I didn't go that route. So I think this is worthwhile just from the aspect of sacking the clue. Because in my mind, the clues is like the worthless of the 2 tokens.
Yeah, it's kind of they're good to draw, but they're not like a good engine in and of themselves. They're like
Yes,
inefficient.
just because it's like 2 mana to draw a card.
Yeah.
So I think this is like tap, sack a clue, get a 2/1. It's a blocker. It's great. It's
Yes.
awesome. Maybe if it gets around to your turn and you didn't even need the 2/1 Inkling, possibly you tap it, sack the Inkling, buff up Tivit, continue on
Yep.
your Voltron train,
And keep going that
and
way.
kind of
Yeah.
keep going that way. I also like the remove a counter because I could see one way that people could kind of deal with your stuff is with negative counters or with
Mm-hmm.
just those other problemsome ones. Being able to remove a counter because it's not a counter you control; it's just from a creature you control, making
Right.
additional treasure tokens. So I think Fane is a good utility player for the deck.
I agree. I like it. It's like a trading post on a creature, right?
Hmm. All right. And then for my last pick for round 19, trying to see, I gotta make sure it's fire. And
I know
this
I
ain't
got I
this seems like a card you like and I'm not a big fan of, so that's why I have it in
Oh,
here.
I do like this card a lot.
So I
This
think
card's
Dockside
incredible.
Chef would be good for this deck for you.
Yes.
So single black, Sun Titan. It's 1/2. It's an enchanted
Yeah.
creature, human citizen. It's an uncommon from Neon Dynasty, and it's 15 cents. Colorless black, sack an artifact or creature, draw a card. So once again, it's giving us avenues to deal with our clues. And the great thing is you can literally sack 2 treasures and then I guess do the same thing a clue does, because that's kind of the weird thing is like technically this mana is the same thing as cracking a clue.
Right.
So I don't know how good it's gonna be, but I don't know.
I still think but I think this is like a good when you get flooded with treasures, right? Which
Oh,
can
okay.
happen.
Sure.
And then now you just have a way to do something with it, right? Like
Okay.
you can kind of turn one into the other. So and it's such a low barrier of entry, right? It's 1 mana and it can
Yeah.
be a blocker and it's a creature. So yeah, why not? Like it's just enough. Like you never want to be stuck where you're just like, all I have is treasures. I
Yep.
can't draw cards. All I have is clues. I don't have any mana to do anything, right? So I think just
Mhm.
having a card like this that's modal is really helpful.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I'm
Well,
here for
Tuck,
it.
what is your final regular snake draft pick? Of course you'd pick this card.
Ink Shield, slam dunk. You are going to get attacked. This deck is going to be the arch enemy in the biggest way possible, and this is exactly how you can clap back with it. 3 colorless, a white and a black for an instant. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt to you this turn. Reach 1 damage this way. Create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. Slam dunk. $11, $8, probably worth it for a rare. I can tell you that this deck, especially my play group, if I choose to play it here, turn 1 arch enemy. Everyone's gonna have their sights on you. It's just gonna get blasted in the face over and over and over again. And you just need ways to keep alive. And this is, I think, one of the most efficient ways to do it when you have a gazillion treasures at your disposal, borderline every turn.
I talk trash about this card. I thought it was overcosted for a fog, and I have seen when people get 30 or 40.
I have similarly been blown out.
Yep.
Wait, really?
It's been sad. So.
Oh no! Oh no!
All right.
God,
We are at the lightning round, though.
Nice.
So what's gonna happen
BigTuck.
here, guys, is BigTuck's gonna pick, and then me, and then Tuck, then me, then Tuck, then me, then Tuck, then me, then we're done.
Wow, we are kind of running out of juice here.
So what do you got? What? Give me your juice. Give me the squeeze.
This is one that this is a card that I'm pissed because again I think I had a foil copy of this and traded it to Marketing Ross for a pittance. And now it's because of this stupid deck, it's like spiraled out of control in expensiveness. But this is another great Will of the Council card, Plea for Power. A card I used to run in almost every deck I played. So 3 colorless and a blue for a sorcery. Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for time or knowledge. If time gets more votes, take an extra turn. If knowledge gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards. So again, I like this card in any way where you can, illusion of choice it's great with. I just like the fact that you can really focus on one or the other, right? And maybe you can trick people because you're like, you know what, I'm going knowledge twice. And people are like, well, why would you do that? It's like, well, I don't know. I just want to draw some cards. And they're like, wait a minute. Why would he want to draw cards? He probably doesn't have anything. Perfect. We're all going to go with time and give you an extra turn. You're like, haha, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge.
That is
You're dead.
literally never. I don't think there's a single play group where it's like, do we want them to draw 3 cards or get an extra turn? You know what? Extra turn. That seems safer. That seems safer.
You never know. If I go in and say like I'm dying for cards, guys. I need this so bad. It's all about the mind games. It's all about the mind games with this card. But it's amazing.
I think what needs to happen is when I come out to Magic 30 in Charlotte, I need to educate this group on proper politics with BigTuck. Because if this stuff's working, I feel like you're taking advantage.
You know what? It probably isn't. I got savaged pretty bad last night, so.
Well,
all right, what do you got for the first lightning?
My round 20, slam dunk.
Oh God, it's so good.
Disciple of the Vault. Single black. Creature, human, cleric. I'm not going to say who can target this card. It's a 1/1. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose a life.
It's
That's
amazing.
all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
It's so good. I'm gonna go right after you right now with another one, which is just like version 2 of this card too. Nadier's Nightblade, 2
Mm,
colorless and a black, Grave Titan for a 1/3 elf warrior. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Like I think correct me if I'm wrong, but we need all of these effects in here, right?
yep.
Like we need Disciple of the Vault, we need this, we need that background that deals damage when that happens, right? Like we need to
Mm-hmm.
have all of these in here because by themselves are brutal and then they stack up so quick. The thing I will say about Disciple of the Vault that I didn't realize right now, I didn't know it's symmetrical. For all your other opponents who are playing treasures and clues,
Yeah.
you get to burn them for that. That's incredible.
It's
It's
not just
so good.
treasures and clues. It's just artifacts.
Yeah,
So
I know, but I'm just saying it's so good.
it is so good. Okay. My round 21, I'm going Winds of Abandon. I
Interesting.
really
Okay,
like
yeah.
this card.
It's really good.
And you've already talked about it. You're going to be the arch enemy. You need
Yeah.
ways to board wipe, but you want to one side board wipe. So, Winds of Abandon, it's a colorless white. You'll never cast it for that. It's a sorcery.
No.
It's a rare. What you're actually going to do is overload for 4 colorless white white. Exile target creature you don't control. For each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for a basic land, puts those onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle the library. So when you overload it, you exile each creature you don't control, and then they all get to do it. So I look at this as you cast Trivet, you get 2. Maybe you connect once and you get 2 back. You know, no one's really buying it. Or maybe you do it and you actually do get the 5. They're like, just give them all treasures. We don't want them to get clues. Well, 1 more mana, you're board wiping them, and now you get free swings, and now you're rebuilding up your treasure clue army. So I think this, and I know it's not on my list. I doubt it's on yours, Cyclonic Rift. I think these one-sided get rid of your opponent's stuff is very key when you have a deck that doesn't have a lot of creatures. It doesn't sound like we're making a lot of creatures. It just sounds like we're just doing a lot of value.
And all the creatures that we're making are either utility creatures that we need to have, or they're chump blockers tokens that are just like kind of worthless, right?
You got it.
The weird thing on this one though, Modern Horizons 182, the list is double that. What?
I don't understand
So
the list.
stupid.
It must be because people are like, you know what? Look at my card. It's so flex. It has the little foil or the little symbol in the bottom left.
You get the little Planeswalker logo that's only been in Magic for the last 20 years, not the entirety of the run of it. That defeats the point of the list to begin with.
Well, hey, round 22, go.
All right. So we already talked about the Monarch. We already talked about voting. What's the new mechanic that's not in here yet, but I actually found a card that makes it work?
Conspire.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Investigate, baby. Let's go. Or no, Initiative. The Initiative. Let's go. Seasoned Dungeoneer. 3 colors and a white for a 3/4 creature human warrior. Just wait. Hear me out on this, okay? When it enters battlefield, you take the initiative. So we're already starting a new metagame. I'm super excited about it. Come and take it from me if you will. Whenever you attack, target cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection from creatures until end of turn, and it explores. So guess what? Trivet, she's a rogue baby, or he's a rogue baby, so he becomes unblockable effectively. And then you can also get a counter on him potentially with the explore trigger, and you get to take the initiative. It's incredible. It's like everything that I want in a card in this deck. And I hope it's like, it's 46 cents. Slam dunk.
Wow. You will just figure out a way to cram every fringe niche mechanic into a deck.
You'll just use anyone, won't you?
But I will say this, the fact that we're so commander-centric, I like the protection from creatures until end of turn.
If it didn't, to be fair to you, if it didn't have that, I would not play it. If it was just explorers.
Ooh, but the
fact that targets your rogue.
You got a non-bow here.
What do you mean?
Just like Lightning Greaves. Protection from creatures, you won't be able to do a lot of your blink effects.
Oh, shit.
So, you'll just have to play the game. You'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That might make it.
Can I do a snake pick? Because I think it's going to work perfectly with that.
Nope.
All right.
Because I might pick it. Son of a bitch.
You piece of shit. You son of a bitch.
All right,
what do you got? 22.
No, round 22.
Seasoned Engineer, slam dunk.
We're going Amanatu.
Oh, yes.
I think
It's
she is an absolute slam dunk in here.
so good. Yes, yes, it does.
It's Esper to cast, so white, blue, black, legendary planeswalker, Amanatu, mythic, 3 loyalty when it comes in, and it can be your commander, but whatever. +1, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of the library. I don't know how often you would actually do that, unless you maybe play a card that I'm going to do next in my snake or in my lightning round.
Oh,
And then you do have -1, which is the more important piece. Exile another
yeah.
target permanent you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. So if essentially 3 mana, you get 3 rotations of blinking Trivet again for an additional value. It's like
Yeah.
ETB, it happens. I'm gets haste. I hit someone with stuff. That happens. Maybe I get like some do an Amanatu. That's a 3rd trigger in a turn.
Yep.
Then hey, we got end of turn triggers. That's a 4th one. You can essentially have
Yeah,
4.
I think this works best as a blink deck, right? And guess what
Yeah.
else? You can blink Sun Titan. You can blink Seasoned Dungeoneer to keep taking the initiative to complete the Undercity.
Sun Titan also gets Amanatu back.
Oh, of course. But I think this is another even if the +1 isn't great, it's still good that you can cycle back and forth between them, right? Like I know we
Sure.
like Planeswalkers where you can +1, -1, +1,
Yep.
-1 if you have to, but
That is
still
fair.
3 mana for 3 bounce effects. Yeah,
Slam dunk.
it was already in my list. I'm making a pile of cards for this because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna build this no matter what. This one's already in it.
All right. What's round 23?
Okay. So this is one of the nombos, but I think this is probably an infinite combo enabler, because it's a little baby bubble cat displacer kitten. Look at him, he's so adorable. Displacer kitten, 3 colorless and a blue for a 2/2 creature cat beast, just like my guy. He's my little baby bubble beast. And it's got avoidance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target on-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its opponent's control. So you could just there's so many loops here that we've already talked about, right? Of like getting the 2 treasures, casting a spell, bouncing him, making 2 more treasures, making all these different things. This card is bonkers. There's a reason why it's $10 now from Battle for Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
What?
I think it's played in Legacy. It's like a Legacy like combo enabler.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean,
non-creature spell.
It's a good effect. It's just more that it's 4 mana. Oh, it's probably Dockside Extortionist. That's why.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you just
and
blink
like,
Dockside, you get a crap ton of mana, do your next spell, blink it, and
yeah.
Okay.
Especially with like Cheerios and that stuff. But anyways, I think this is still pretty solid, right? Like another blink effect, another utility creature.
It's
I
good for
already
the
have
deck.
one.
It's good for the deck. I wasn't saying that. I was just more freaking out at $10 and
Oh,
it being a 4-drop and played in Legacy. Because usually Legacy, it's 4 drops. I don't feel like is super common unless you're able to cheat them out real easy.
yeah.
So that's why I was a little surprised. Okay.
Yeah, you look confused. It's like, do I really need to sell this to you? I think it's pretty good.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about my next card
Okay.
because this is the one that I think the +1 on Amanatu, it makes it worthwhile. Bolas'
Oh,
Citadel.
of course.
So, I mean, it was really hard for me not to put this in here, but I think you'll
Right.
find it funny on what sold me. 3 colorless, black, legendary artifact, rare. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. So, that's what I was talking about with Amanatu. If it's, I've already played a land this turn, I'll +1, put something from my hand that I actually do want to cast, and then I'll pay the life. But you know why I really liked it, Tuck? Tap. Sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life.
Yeah,
You'll probably have 10 clues at some point that you don't want to crack.
Yeah, that
So
I
how
don't
about
want to
we
do anything with.
Yeah, let me sacrifice 10 clues, ding y'all for 10 on top of all the other bleed effects that I'm doing to you. And this card is still, around $5, so it's not.
I mean, that's more than what it was.
I mean,
although that Love Your LGS promo looks pretty slick.
Oh yeah, that's the one I got. Love
nice.
It. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of sold on it. Yeah, I think it's got the card draw is good enough, right?
Yeah.
Having something to do with all those treasures is always going to be critical in the deck. So yeah, I think this is I think the copy I have of this is in another deck that I'm probably soon to tear apart. So that'll probably just make the journey over into this one.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say in my defense, since I don't normally talk about card draw, I was like, okay, let me try to get some way in here that Tuck can actually draw
Mm.
cards throughout the game.
Sure, sure,
All
sure,
right,
sure.
sir. Give us 24.
Here comes the sweeper. Because I have this card, I own it, but it's in a deck that I might try to build in the future, but
Okay.
I haven't made sure of. Because again, what are we gonna do with those clues, MrCombo? Sacrifice them? I don't think so. Are we going to tap them for their actual mana? No. What we're
We're
gonna
going to throw
do,
them at people.
close. What we're gonna do is we're gonna turn them into 4/4 flyers, and we're gonna punch someone directly out of the game with Cyberdrive Awakener. New card, baby. 5 colors and a blue for an artifact creature construct. It's a 4/4 flyer. Other artifact creatures you control have flying. When it enters the battlefield until end of turn, each non-artifact creature you control becomes an artifact creature's base power and toughness 4/4. What a blowout! This is the win. This is a sweeper. This is it. This is it.
Oh, gosh. Tuck. This
And you
Tivit.
can just and then you just bounce it. You don't even need your commander.
So that's kind of what I was getting at. This Tivit and Deadeye Navigator, I actually think I'd put Deadeye on this and then pay my 2 mana. And
Oh,
then each of the turns, you could kind of have sneak attack blockers. If people come
yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It's sick, dude. With all the bouncing, come on, that's a good one to go out on.
That's really, really
I
good.
didn't do March of the Machines or whatever the one
That's
is
kind of what I was thinking you were going. And I
the
was like,
the
oh,
dust one. I don't remember what that one's called. But no,
oh
this one's even more
man.
fun.
I don't know what I'm going to do for my last one. Oh
Better
my
be something good.
gosh. You know what? I think we've talked about enough of them that this is still worth it. So I'm gonna gamble just because
And put in gamble.
and put in gamble. Break the rules. I'm gonna try Emery, Lurker of the Lock.
Ooh, I do like me some Emery. Sure.
So 2 colorless blue, legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/2 Sun Titan. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control, so it'll just always be a single blue to cast. Um,
Yeah.
when Emery and ETBs mill 4 cards, that could bite us in the butt. It could. Or with all the Sun Titan chaff we have, we just fill up our
I was gonna say,
graveyard.
or just because it's 3 free Sun Titan triggers.
But I do think the tap, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast this card this turn. I think Emery in this deck would be a spice card because it is going to allow you to get your Time Sieve back. It's going to allow you to get your Kodoltha Forge
Crack
Master
Clan,
back.
yeah.
Yes, Crack Clan Ironworks. So I think this is more of a your opponents have stopped you throughout the game and you need
Yes,
ways to
right.
reliably each turn be able to get something out of there. This kind of allows you to do that.
I think this is more of like, it doesn't do anything. She doesn't really do anything by herself, but she's such a good enabler for everything else, right? Does that make sense? I bet she's also kind of like
Yeah.
she could also kind of be like a little bit of a blink target herself too, if you just want to keep milling yourself. So I mean, there's that, right? If you just want to go straight graveyard synergies, I like it. I think Emery is a really cool card, and I like playing her in every deck. That I think she's a good fit in. But the more I'm looking at this, I literally think this is just Brea with less it's Brea with less hoops. So I don't know if that's gonna be a good thing or not. But I'm excited. I think you brought up some real bangers here. I think I own most of these, so I don't really have an excuse not to build this, I guess. Just to become a degen.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a very short break. We're going to plug the stuff into Tapped Out and give you guys the deck statistics. But while we're doing that, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Thank you for taking that little pause there, Twitch and YouTube. And for the audio people, you didn't even know we left. So, that's just the thing.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. But we got the deck here, and oh, buddy. Tuck,
It looks pretty good.
here's the crazy thing, guys. So Big Tuck went in, and he did the laziest thing any Magic player can do. I went 36 lands, 12, 12, 12. And Tuck, why don't you look at that pie chart and tell me almost how dead on you were?
It was very close. So what is it? 33, no, sorry, outer is 28% black, 33% white, 33%, 34%, sorry, 34% white, 33%. Wait, hold on. What the hell
You're
is
reading
going
the
on
wrong
here?
thing. Black is
It's
28%,
28.
37%
Okay,
blue, and then 34% white.
there we go. Okay. I don't know why that, oh, that makes a lot more sense. So still pretty close.
From a
Shockingly
breakdown,
close.
yeah, it was. I mean, that's so close. We obviously 36 lands. So Tuck, the shocking thing, we didn't think that you said there was gonna be maybe 10 creatures, 20
Oh,
creatures.
19. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's really
20,
good, actually.
20 artifacts, so we're pretty even there. 11 enchantments, 5 sorceries, 6 instants, a couple planeswalkers. Uh, why don't you look at that competitive meter?
Yeah, I saw that. 71% casual in your dreams. What was your 6 CMC tribal?
I was 69% competitive, my favorite number.
so so this one's more that's more competitive than this one. Just to point out again how much heavy lifting freaking sun tidying, a card that we have besmirched and cut from decks like since the start of the show. 7 1 drops, 16 3 drops, 14 2 drops. So what is that? 37. So a quarter of the non-land card, a quarter more than a quarter of the deck, including land cards.
No, that does not include lane cards. That
Oh yeah, that's
30,
right.
yeah. So then you add that, so 76% of the deck is Sun Titan targetable.
Wow, what a blowout.
Yeah,
Oh
average
god.
CMC 338, so that obviously checks out.
Very reasonable.
I hate to
400
say it
bucks,
though,
which is
you might have to have a token binder. See all those tokens it says you need?
no, let me look.
Oh my
All
god.
right, we got oh my god, angels, clues, constructs, copy clones, dungeons of the Mad Mage, that's the Lost Mage, dungeon, Tomb of Annihilation, Undercity, Eldrazi, 1010, food, goblin. What? Where's the goblin come from? Wait, what?
Who knows?
So
Who
I guess there's
knows?
goblins in here. Inklings, Monarch Emblem, Phyrexian Germ, Skeleton 1/1, Skeleton 4/1. Oh, from the tombs. Spirit 1/1 flyer, the Atropals 4/4 Death Touch, the Initiative and Treasure. Holy shit.
Oh my god. And then
It's incredible.
the last deck stack we usually give guys 7 mythics, 37 rares, 17 uncommons, and 2 commons. So um
Yeah.
you know what? I think this was a fantastic chaos draft. And before we close out the audio portion of this, Big Tuck, any last thoughts on this? Because I'm gonna be honest, I think we did great.
I think we nailed it. I think we nailed it out of the park. I think we had some really fun picks. I think we had. I think there's. I think if you're gonna build this to, I was a little worried because there's only like 10 cards that have voting on them, and I thought for sure we were both going to go into that. But I think we chose the ones that are impactful and fun.
Yep.
I think that this is. I feel like this is gonna be really, really strong, and I'm a little worried about that. Like way too strong for the people I usually play with. But I think that this gives us. I think this is easily one of those decks combo where we've talked about this, where you have 10 cards on the sideboard, quote unquote, right? And people are like, well, we don't want to play decks that are infinite combos or too strongs. Okay, that's fine. Let me sub out 3 of the infinite combos, and I'll just play it as like a value train, right?
Yep.
And just put in more fun, janky stuff.
I mean, I hate to say it, Tuck. If I hadn't just built my 6 CMC tribal deck in real life,
This would be the next one.
I'd be stealing this from you. I'm not kidding.
Really?
This seems like a deck that I don't have anything like, and it seems very combo but combat centric, and I
Yeah.
really like that. And it's not the combo combat where you're getting infinite combats. I mean, maybe you're taking infinite turns for infinite combats, but it's not like in red where I'm aggravated assault over and
We
over and over and over.
we live across the country. You can build this if you want.
No, I can't. I'm getting married. I have only so many dollars to spend. But I'm glad everyone enjoyed this. And as always, have a great night. See ya.
Bye. We're not gonna talk about my Twitter.
Boom. No.
I was really hoping you're gonna say, where can we find you on Twitter? Because I actually had something to say, because I posted one card about like, why did we miss this? That one post is like 300 likes or something insane like that.
No. And just for the video and the Twitch group, we didn't do the normal plugs this episode. It was kind of something new I was trying because the recording was an hour and 40, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't do another 15 minutes of stuff. So just kind of took one episode off, just kind of seeing how the timing went out. But I will say this was probably our most active Twitch and YouTube stream. We had up to like
Yeah.
9-10 people at once in there. We have people commenting in YouTube. We have people commenting in Twitch. So thank you, Reboot. Thank you, Spencer. Chard Spark. Oh gosh, who else? Popped in for a bit. I think I
Lemony
saw
Lennings, I
Treefo
think.
Lord. Yeah, Lemony Lennings, Laze. Just thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, be sure to stay greasy.
And get handed.
Bye.